Hello, everybody. This is Frank with Iron Age News, South Florida Conservative News Center. It's Friday, February 27th, 8 p.m., and we are going to talk about the skirmish, which is rapidly escalating into possible war between Pakistan and the Taliban-run Afghanistan. More importantly, who, if anyone, can realistically stop it? This is just not another border skirmish in some mountain pass. What we're seeing is the collision of sovereignty, mutual sanctuary, regional power politics, and nuclear era risk management. So we can break this down pretty clearly. Why is this happening? The important thing at the heart of this conflict is one issue: militant sanctuary. Pakistan claims that Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, the TTP, is operating from Afghan territory and launching attacks into Pakistan. Islamabad says that's enough. Airstrikes, artillery, escalation. Okay. The Afghan Taliban deny formal sponsorship, but here's the structural problem. They are now a government, but they are still an ideological movement. Cracking down on militants who share their worldview isn't very simple. Pakistan views cross border militancy as a direct sovereignty violation. Afghanistan sees external strikes as an attack on its fragile authority. And layered on top of that is the Durand Line, a border Afghanistan has historically resisted recognizing. Tribal populations span both sides of that, and it makes enforcement messy and political. This is not random violence, whatever anyone's going to tell you. It is a long brewing sovereignty crisis. So far, fighting has concentrated around frontier zones like Torkham, and we're seeing artillery duels, some drone activity. There's casualties being exchanged, civil displacement risks. It's not yet a full scale war, but it's more than just the usual theater or when Pakistan or when India and China get together and throw rocks at each other and hit each other with sticks. It's much more than that. Pakistan appears to be shifting from containment to punishment. And that's a serious escalation in doctrine. And the reality is, Pakistan is a nuclear armed state. Afghanistan is institutionally fragile. Prolonged instability benefits nobody except for extremist factions looking for chaos. So the real question is going to be not who wants to mediate this, but who actually has leverage and can actually get something done. If you ran down the list of people who have already offered, Iran, no. Tehran benefits from calibrated instability and expanded influence. They have not learned a thing from the bombings and assassinations that have occurred in their country. They are still enjoying playing the villain wherever possible. Russia, opportunistic, not neutral. China, China supports Pakistan strategically through CPEC, which is their little agreement between themselves. They sell the Pakistanis military hardware. Diplomacy runs back and forth. But what you're going to see here in Pakistan is history tells you something important, which is just recently, as you recall, when India and Pakistan escalate, as they had, Beijing provided rhetorical support, but it avoids decisive intervention. China does not want war between nuclear neighbors, it prefers controlled tension. China's priority is Carter stability, not moral arbitration, which means Beijing may try to protect its leverage, but likely won't risk escalation to impose a solution. So the two best choices in our minds, and it's for a couple of reasons, it would be the Saudi Arabians and Turkey, again with Turkey, right? Saudi Arabia, which was my choice on this one, has kept deep military and financial ties with Pakistan. It has religious legitimacy across the Sunni world, all right? And importantly, it is aligned with Western security structures, or at least pretends to be, as it has been since Donald Trump showed up. If Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is able to broker a de-escalation, that is a big diplomatic win for Riyadh. It's definitely going to strengthen Saudi Arabia's role as a regional stabilizer. It is a feather in the cap to the crown prince, and it is a super bonus for Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia can apply state level pressure and offer economic incentives to stop it, and that is real leverage. And now Turkey, which is, if you read the news, especially Al Jazeera, always remember Al Jazeera is owned by Qatar, and Qatar just likes Qatar, and other people like it. They have been pushing Turkey. Turkey plays a different role. Ankara has credibility with Islamist movements. It's a Muslim Brotherhood friendly. It has defense ties with Pakistan and it remains inside of the NATO structure. Turkey can speak to Taliban leadership in ideological terms while reinforcing state responsibility. If Saudi Arabia is like the stability lever, Turkey is the ideological bridge. Together, they balance each other out somewhat. Neither dominates, both bring influence. Some people are arguing, though, that when you have two adversarials fight, it's strategically neutral. Two Islamic countries that both enjoy getting involved in terrorism decide to kill each other. It's a victimless crime, as some people would say. But that's dangerous thinking, although it is pretty glib and a good one. Instability in this corridor historically spills outward. Extremist groups thrive in fragmentation. And of course, the endless refugee flows, which will end up in New York City and other points west, destabilize the neighborhood. The nuclear escalation risk, however small, does exist. And if you ignore that, it is not strategic discipline. Anybody with a nuclear weapon should be considered dangerous. This conflict ultimately hinges on one question, and it is, will Afghanistan prevent its territory from being used to attack Pakistan? The answer is no. Cross border strikes become normalized. If the answer is yes, under monitored mediation, escalation can be halted. The best available architecture right now appears to be a coordinated Saudi-Turkish mediation effort with, quiet Western support behind the scenes. The United States cannot be in the front of this one. It would not work very well for us in general, just due to the pressure that is involved with two militant Islamic groups to have the Western devil show up when they can have these other guys work this out for them is a much better fit. Anything else is going to risk either an escalation or geopolitical opportunism, like the Iranians. And in a region like this, escalation rarely stays local. So if you have found this to be useful, like, subscribe, share, stay tuned because this is getting a very delicate phase going on in that area. And there's going to be a lot more information as it goes. People, as the world is trying to court peace, these last holdouts are going to try to get away with as much as possible because they think that just because you're courting peace, you're not preparing for war. And they are sadly mistaken 9 times out of 10. So that's going to be it for now. Have a good weekend, and we will talk to you soon. Goodbye.